Hey people, I'm back after 11 months of being away. Yeah, hopefully I can start uploading videos more often. Some of you have been sending me Discord messages on DM asking how I'm doing and checking if I'm okay and if I'm ever going to come back. Thanks for that. And that really motivated me to come back. So yeah, I'm going to try hard. Yeah, year 2024 has been super busy for me. I don't know how it's been for you guys. Economy has certainly been kind of tricky, right? There's a lot of stuff that happened. Of course, the Trump election happened, and also interest rates are kind of going down, at least for UK. I think that's also the case in the Western world. So that's going to be pretty interesting for 2025. Anyways, in this video, I'll briefly cover what I've been up to and why I was away, and then go over some of the interesting projects that I did using AI, which to my surprise, AI helped me tremendously to finish some of the cool projects I have that are actually making money for me. And I can also give you guys some tips on building something similar for you guys, for yourselves. And then finally, I'll go over how efficiently some of the tips that I've learned over many months of using AI in my programming and how you can efficiently use them as well and hopefully help you in your programming as well. So yeah, let's get started. For those of you who have been following my YouTube channel for some time, you know that I moved here in Dubai about 2 years ago. And last year was the year when we decided that we're going to basically start a family. We really like Dubai. We think it's the best place on earth to start a family and raise kids. And that's why we decided to stop renting and then start preparing to have a child, our first child. And we bought a 2-bedroom apartment in Dubai. So that's the picture in the upper image. Now, that was a off-plan purchase, which means we have to make large installments and a large initial deposit. And when we did that, we sort of, the timing wasn't great. So as you see in the lower chart, that shows the demand for housing in 2024 in the UK. And as you know, I have multiple properties in UK where I do Airbnb, and also I also still have the primary residence that we used to live in. So all of that, we were thinking we could at least sell one of them to transfer the funds from the sale from that, and then make the deposit for this apartment here. Well, it turns out the UK housing, housing market hasn't been doing great in 2024. As you can see in the chart, blue line is the buyer's demand, and the yellow line is the sales that are coming into the market. So the sales of the houses have gone up, but the demand has gone down. So there's a surplus of houses for sale, which means the price collapsed and people are not really looking to buy. That's largely because of the interest rates and the inflation, and just it's overall difficult for people to afford to buy houses anymore. So we've tried putting the houses on the market, but nobody came to see basically. So we had to turn that around and start doing rentals. And then because we needed to make large deposit on the new apartments, we had to basically liquidate our income funds. So those of you who have been following my channel, I'm always a fan of income funds, but unfortunately that had to be completely liquidated. And then we made the deposit. And then after that, we still have to make the multiple installments over about 1 year. And yeah, those are pretty big as well. One thing about Dubai is that if you're doing off-plan purchases, they require you to put down like 60%, 70% of the house price, which is crazy. Like in USA or Canada, let's say, or UK, you only put down maximum 20%, but no, over here, you got to do 60, 70%. So the long-term immediate solution is liquidating the funds to put down the deposit, and then a long-term solution was to work multiple freelancing jobs on the side. So I had one full-time job, and then at some point I had like 3-4 freelancing jobs on the side. I had basically had no life. I'm still having no life. I'm still having to work very hard. On the weekdays, I did 16 to 17 days an hour. And then on weekends, I do about 8 to 10 hours a day working. And this is all possible because I heavily relied on AI. Without AI, this would have been impossible. And I'll explain to you why. And if I can do this using AI, I think anybody can do it. And I think this right now, that use of AI to maximize your income in this way, I think is the best use of AI, unless you're building a company out of AI-based technology. But other than that, as a software programmer engineer, if you want to maximize the use of AI, I think this is the way you should do it now. Despite working that many hours, I still set aside some time to do an experiment, and that was a challenge to see whether AI can write an entire app, and I wouldn't be writing any single line of code in there. So I wanted to totally rely on the AI to build this app. And to my surprise, it was meant to be just an experiment, but I just kept going and going and going. And to my surprise, it finished after roughly about 20 hours, and it's a completely working app, and it's making really good money for me. And I can show you the demo of it and how much money I'm making, how much money I invested so far. But it's an app that basically writes loan offers for me on nftify.com. So if you guys have been following my YouTube channel, there's other videos that explains how nftify.com works. And I've been using this platform for about 3 years, 2 years, 3 years now, not too sure, but for a pretty long time. And I used to make loan offers manually by myself once a week, and that took me about 3-4 hours once a week. So I got sick and tired of it, and I wanted to automate that process and not write the loan offer once a week, but basically every single day. So the loan offers would expire in 24 hours, which makes it less risky, right? Because if you're checking the prices of the NFT collaterals every 24 hours instead of once every week, then you have the up-to-date market price, and you can set your loan principal amount accordingly. So it's just less risky. If you do more research more frequently and update your loan offers, it's less risky. So I built this bot. I'll go over the basic features of it. You can set multiple loan durations. You can choose to lend out 1 week, 2 weeks, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 5 options. And then you can set LTV percentage per loan duration. So the longer the duration, the less the LTV should be. So you want to lend out less money if the duration is longer because it's more risky. So if somebody's borrowing from you for maybe just 1 week, then it's not risky, right? The NFT collateral price is not gonna, the market price of that NFT is not gonna change much in 1 week. So you can afford to lend out more money. But if somebody's borrowing 3 months, that's risky, right? So as I mentioned, the loan offers get expired every 24 hours, and then when the loan gets foreclosed, I will have to take the NFT and then put it into my personal wallet, and that gets done automatically using the API as well. So that's pretty convenient. So then once the NFT comes into my personal wallet, I just go to OpenSea and then just sell it. And then I wanted to have a comprehensive dashboard view to see all my loans and how they're doing. So this entire work took about 2 months, working only weekends. That's roughly about 20 hours. But iterating, so that's the MVP release of it. And then iterating on top of that, probably 10, 20 more hours on top of that to polish and just, make it into a good state. So I'm gonna kind of share my screen and then go over the demo of it. So this is the app. Everything you see here has been written by AI. This is really no big deal. This whole thing was using Tailwind UI. So it's a well-known CSS framework, so AI knows about it. But this is a landing page. If I click on sign in, I will immediately sign into my account. There's no registering accounts. Nobody can open up an account and start using it. I had it there, and I actually pitched this app to an investor in Dubai, and he was really interested in it. He was ready to just put in a couple millions. But the problem when it came down to actually, analyzing the app with him, and he didn't really like the fact that the people had to create an account on this platform, and then I would create a wallet on the fly and then keep the private key of that wallet. I need the private key because I need to do the API call to nftify.com to create an offer. If a loan gets overdue, then I have to foreclose and take the NFT and then inject it into your personal wallet. All that process requires a private key. Otherwise, a user has to interact with the MetaMask or something to keep clicking approve. And that's not ideal. That's not how I wanted to use it. I wanted it to be completely automated. So I create a wallet on the fly and then keep the private key. And he didn't like that because that gets into all kinds of regulations and complications. Because I'm actually taking money, from people and then managing that money. So that gets into a completely different legal domain. So yeah, he asked me to fix the code and change the app, then he would consider investing, but I didn't want to do it because it defeats the whole purpose of the app, and also I don't think people are gonna like logging in and manually clicking. If you're creating hundreds of loan offers every day, nobody's gonna log in and just keep clicking 100 times. That's just not gonna. So yeah, that's the major flaw. So I decided to only use it for myself, but as you can see here, just explaining how everything works. And then these are the active loan offers that will be refreshed every 24 hours. So the things that determine what kind of loan offers and how many would be created would be based on your cash balance right now. So if the cash balance is large, then you can create loan offers for many different NFT collections. So yeah, I mean, these are loan offers as you can see, the active loans right now, right? The principal amount and then annual interest rate that I'm charging for this loan is 40%. But this person is really lending for about a month, right? So it's not, just because this is 40% doesn't mean it's actually 40% interest revenue. It has to be prorated to be 1 month. So this is the end repayment amount that this person will pay back. So everything here is in Ethereum, what you're seeing here. So these are the active loans. These are all the repaid loans. There are times when people don't pay, then you liquidate automatically. There's been 18 liquidated loans, and then I will just take their NFT and sell them on OpenSea. So you can see all of these screens, this table, everything has been written by AI, and then the backend integration with NFTfi.com, and also the integration here. If I go to the loan settings, so this is where you specify your loan durations and then LTV values, and then there's the lending wallet, and then I can basically connect the wallet from here and then send the money in. So all this to say is that everything you see here, the MetaMask integration, the blockchain related code, NFTfi API, and NFTfi.com API usage, I did not know any of that. I'm just a dumb web developer that hasn't worked on any blockchain related stuff, any of these browser plugins for Web3 technology. I haven't done any of that. And AI just straight up coded everything for me. I just had to review the code and manually test to see everything works. And that's been great. So now this is the app. As you can see, this is real money. I just put in about 8,000 US dollars, and it's made pretty good returns. And then this value goes up and down greatly depending on the price of the Ethereum. Because really, this is how much I have. This is the absolute number, and then this is the converted number from Ethereum to US dollars. So this number changes up and down a lot. I highly recommend you guys to look into I'll share the link to the NFTfi.com API and their SDK in the description of this video. And I highly recommend building something like this for yourself. It's really profitable. And I haven't lost money yet, and it's really good. The only time you will lose money is basically the Ethereum itself going down in price. But I mean, if you're gonna just invest into crypto anyways, this is a good passive income while holding on to the Ethereum, or yeah, that's how I see it. So in the end, yeah, this number went up all the way up to over 20,000 at one point recently when Ethereum was high. But again, when I first invested, it was really just like I think 7,000 something US dollars. So it's gone up still, even after Ethereum has come down quite a bit. So enough said. I'll go into the code and give you kind of example of what AI is capable of generating in terms of high quality code, in my opinion. First of all, in terms of the folder structure, you have to dictate the folder structure. AI really struggles with this part. So I have here, I'm using Turbo Repo, I'm using TypeScript, and I'm using Nest.js backend and React frontend. So this is a mono repo. I have the server Nest.js here, and then the web is the React project. So if I open source, like all of this organization here, components, pages, styles, this is my work. So you have to dictate, you have to tell the AI how to organize this. It's just better that way. AI is not going to do it properly. So this loan tables, let's see, reveal in the Explorer view. It's over here. It's inside components, common, crypto lending. There's other parts to this app that I'm going to be adding, not just crypto lending. So crypto lending, view loans, and then loans table. So look at this. I structured the folders, but the breaking down of this file, how I did it was that I let the AI generate the entire. So this table here is basically the table that's shown here. These ones, they all look similar. I think it's this one, not the loan offers, this one. Active loans, repaid loans, and then liquidated loans. So they look all similar, right? They have the NFT image, collection name, token ID for this particular NFT, and then all these columns, right? So that was coded this way. So, you know, this is pretty well organized code. Loans table, which is like the parent-most component. And then it would have the header portion and the rows, individual rows in the table. So if I go into the header, it's broken down by 4 files. There's a mobile view of this as well. And you can see this is all Tailwind. So initially, okay, so this is the header, and then these are the individual rows. I mean, this to me is pretty clean. Like I don't think I can write any cleaner code than this for the table that is supposed to look like that. And then the mobile details. The mobile view is basically all in one package. It probably has the header and the rows together. And let me see if I can show the mobile view. It's pretty good. And this particular design, AI came up with it. Like these 2 columns. I basically said, I want to squeeze in as much information as possible, and then AI was like, okay, then I'm going to divide it into 2 columns. That to me is pretty good, and this looks like that on the mobile as well when I tested. So I was very impressed, very impressed. So the way I was able to achieve this is initially, you don't want to ask the AI to break down into multiple components and blah blah blah. You don't want to complicate things in the beginning because AI will be confused, and you won't be able to achieve this. The way you would do it is you start off with loans table, and then you tell the AI. Basically, what I did was I copy and pasted the example code from Tailwind's UI website. So yeah, here. So I copy and pasted the table source code, and then I told the AI, here's an example of what the table looks like, and I want you to just write, and also you have to give it for the table to be populated, you would be pulling the data from the backend, right? So for all this data, all the JSON array of JSON data for all of this, you have to give it to the AI as well. So you give the AI, here's how the table should look like in terms of CSS and HTML tags, and then here's the JSON that will populate the data into that table. So using these ingredients, now I want you to write React component that is the loans table, and use the Tailwind CSS, and then generate the whole table for me. And then what it would do is it would just go to town with it. It'll just do whatever you see in the header and the row, like all this code. It would just shove it into the one file that you told it to do, and it would just create a giant source code. And then it's gonna get confusing. So what I did was, now I want you to put some comments to like divide in the code. Like here's the body section. Like here's the header section. Just purely for me to be able to read what it was doing, right? So I want you to divide up the sections in the code into header and body of the table clearly so I can follow the code, because it was just way too long in one file. Yeah. So after I understood that, I made some adjustments with it. I didn't write any code. So I just kept asking it to, okay, maybe this row has to be a darker blue color, or just make some adjustments, right? Little adjustments. And then once you're happy with the final table, you tell it to refactor the header portion, the row portion. So you have to tell it how to refactor precisely. Otherwise, if you rely on the AI to do the refactoring, then it's going to get into all kinds of hallucinations and it's going to give you some trouble. So yeah, you have to dictate every single step of the way. So you're the one who's guiding the whole process. So I always recommend telling it to do it in just one gigantic file. You read every single line of code, understand what it's doing, and then you guide the refactoring process. So that was the front end. I was really impressed by that. And then on the back end side, it gets a lot more complicated, right? So this is my Nest.js loan service. And then there's a cron here. And then I'm not going to go into the details of it, but this is the main entry point. So every 3 hours, I am actually syncing NFT collections, as in this is where I am actually pulling all the latest prices of each NFT collection. Using OpenSea API, even integrating with OpenSea API, AI did a tremendous job for that. I just basically integrated in one shot. There wasn't any trouble to get the latest market price for each of the NFT collections. And then once you are finished with that, then what am I doing here? I am looping through active users. You can see right away that I was actually building the platform for multi-users. So I'm looping through the active users, and then for each user, I am syncing their loan offers, make loan offers for a user, sync current active loans, liquidate defaulted loans, transfer the NFT that you foreclosed to the user's wallet so they can go and sell that to OpenSea, and then take the dashboard snapshot. So the dashboard you're seeing here is basically the snapshot is taken every 3 hours. It's not real time. So all of that, I mean, to me, this is a pretty readable code, isn't it? It's really intuitive. And this was, again, following the exact same pattern as the loans table. Initially, this didn't have this many functions, maybe like 2-3 steps. And I told the AI to write the whole thing within this one function. And then it was just a gigantic hundreds of lines of code. And then I asked it to break it down with comments on the screen so I can see where the step number 1 begins and finishes, and then where the step number 2 begins and finishes. And then once I understood and read what it was trying to do, then I would refactor into these. I basically asked, step number 1, I want to change this and that. And once you're done with that, can you refactor it into a separate function on its own? So the top level function can actually call it. So all this refactoring was me and AI working together. AI is never going to generate this kind of well-organized code from the get-go. It's never going to happen. So you really have to take complete charge of what you're doing. Before I started on that landing bot project, I thought the extent to which the AI would help me out with would be just the API integrations. So for that project, I had to integrate with OpenSea API, browser extension for MetaMask, and then NFTFi.com API. And these are well documented on the internet, so my AI model knew about it, and it was able to give me like really good quality integration code. And that was really helpful. I didn't have to read any of the official documentation for those APIs. And that's what I thought it was going to do for me, and that's about it. But that wasn't the case. It did way more for me as I experimented and then relied on it more and more. So in this slide, I'm going to explain to you how I go about the 6 main things that I rely on the AI for. So first of all, you need to get the Cursor AI IDE. I think a lot of the software engineers now know about this IDE because it's so popular. And it's just hands down, if you're going to be programming a lot, and especially you're going to be doing it like me, where you don't want to, you no longer want to type on the keyboard for your code. You don't want to write any code, and you want to just rely on the AI to write everything. Then this is a go-to IDE for you. And in that IDE, I set the model to be Cloud 3.5 Sonnet. That, to me, is the best model to work with in the way I particularly, like in the way specifically I work with the AI. So give it a try. I didn't have much luck with the Open AI, ChatGPT, DeepSeek, any of the other, like Gemini, any of the other AI models. They were just all pretty bad for me. But Cloud 3.5 Sonnet was like spot on. I would say near perfect. So it's really good. So you have to be, you have to at the center. Okay, that's a mistake. You have to put yourself at the center of all decision making is what I wanted to say. So these are the 6 main areas that AI can help you with, but eventually, ultimately, you have to be the one who makes the final call. Don't rely on the AI. You have to review every single thing the AI suggests and recommends, and then you press the approval button. So some of these areas that I rely on the AI is the architectural design. So this is where I would like to write some kind of framework for myself in my code base. Framework, I mean like abstractions here. So it's a little bit more than just utility functions, like individual small utility functions, which are shared by and used by multiple places in your code base. So this is a little bit more boilerplate than that, right? This is a proper abstraction. And in order to arrive at a decision on like what kind of pattern you want to use, observer pattern or like, event, pops up pattern, any kind of pattern you want to decide on, you can, ask the AI to sort of give the context of which you want to write. And then different patterns that you can use, and then ask it to give you pros and cons, and then you just pick the one that you want to use. Writing tests, this is a no-brainer. AI has been known for writing good tests, and that really is the case. I used AI to write a lot of tests. It was really good. And using APIs, and as I mentioned, the more well-known the API is and the well-documented it is on the internet, the AI is going to know more about it. So usually nowadays, I even pick the APIs that I want to use based on their documentation, how clean it is. And if it's not, then AI is not going to know about it, so I kind of stay away from it. So code review, I always ask the AI to look at a final look and then criticize on it, and then we fix the code together. Debugs, the favorite thing I like to do with the AI is to ask the AI to just put in all these console log statements, just log statements everywhere, to see what's happening in the code, and just run the code and see what happens. And it just puts all those log statements for every single step and all the arguments, all their values and all that. It's really tedious if you want to write it yourself, and it just does that, and that's been wonderful. Such a time saver. DevOps, I usually just rely on GitHub Actions for a simple hobby projects, but the AI is able to understand, how to write the YAML configurations for GitHub Actions or any kind of other platforms. It's really good at that. So for all of these areas that you want to rely on, start experimenting, and then I will go over how you can actually guide the AI to ask questions and interact with it for all these 6 areas. Now I'm going to discuss 3 simple steps that I take for asking questions in those 6 areas. The current LLM, a lot of people have different opinions about the current LLM on the internet, and some of them I just completely disagree with, and I have a feeling that they haven't really worked with LLM enough, and they are just saying that. And what I disagree with is that people give too much credit to AI, and I think there's a bit of a overhype about the AIs right now. To me, they are nothing but an advanced autocomplete, almost like a Copilot, but a lot smarter. It can take in a bit more context of what you're doing. You can feed it like your entire code base now using Cursor AI, and that's a lot of context, and that's really more advanced than simple Copilot from GitHub. So that's where it stops for me. Nothing more than that. It's not capable of doing reasoning. It can do reasoning with your help. So your entire, you get into a situation when you're working with AI, you iterate on a solution, right? It gives you initial solution, and then you don't like it, and then you tell it to fix it a little bit, and then you just take it step by step, and then you end up with a good final result. And that, the whole chat history in that conversation is the reasoning process. And you're actually reasoning things out with the AI's help. So you're the one who's actually doing the reasoning, AI is not doing it. And that's how that's how I use it. So the first prompt is always for me is don't show me code. That's the first thing I say to the AI, because it's so quick to jump into implementation details. And that to me is like the most junior-like behavior. Like all these junior developers, when they first start on the job, they're so quick to solutionizing everything and start hitting on the keyboard. And that's what the AI does. Immediately they jump into giving you the code, and you need to make it stop. Tell it specifically, don't show me any code, and then let's have a conversation about it. So whether that be architectural design, whether that be you're writing a unit test. For unit tests, what I do is just show me the describe function and it function. I'm talking Jest framework without the actual testing code inside them. Just give me empty functions, but like their titles, the testing function titles that describes what is supposed to be tested. And just give me list of those, and that's it. So you really want to start off without looking at the code and high-level discussions with them. And then the next level, the second prompt, would be show me the stubbed out functions according to what we discussed so far. So whether that be, I don't know, if it's OP, give me inheritance class structure, or give me interfaces. If it's a functional programming, give me all the functions that you're going to be layering in, but don't write the actual functions. Give me just the names. And then what you want to do is you want to, as I mentioned, work on the folder structure and the files and putting the functions in them. Okay, and then you still have conversation with the AI while you're doing that, and then ask the AI, here are the functions and the folders. Do you have any recommendations on how I should tweak that? And then you just go back and forth. And once you've done that, then finally the third prompt will be implementing each individual function, and then have the AI to basically write the functions. And then you're always going to be testing the functions as best as you can. If you want to write the unit tests to test the functions, if that's easy for you, then you should do that. But you're the tester. You're the QA tester of all those implemented code. So that's basically how I do it. And I just repeat that over and over to tackle all of the 6 areas that I mentioned before. And this is where I'm going to stop in terms of how I work with AI. I think you guys are all smart enough to follow this, give it a go and see how this is going to work out. But if you come across certain problems that I don't know, I can't guarantee whether I can help out or not, but if you want to bounce off some ideas and discuss with me and ask questions about it, then I can create a video to answer that. So just leave whatever is in your questions in the Discord server or down in the comments in the video. I'll always check them. So good luck to you, and I hope you can also pump out these hobby projects one after another quickly, and then just test them out and see how they benefit you. I think as software engineers, this is the best thing we can do right now with the LLMs. LLM is going to eventually, I think AI will definitely eventually take over programmers. Like they're going to actually do the programming job, not the current LLM, but the AIs in the future. But before that time comes when we would be out of jobs, you should be preparing for that and just like keep pumping out content, whether it be videos, vlogs, blogs, or small apps, microservices, whatever it is. Use the current LLMs to generate and just keep pumping them out and see where they stick, whether they stick or not. Good luck to you, and see you guys later.